Welcome to Marketecture, where you can get smart fast with in-depth interviews of leading technology vendors. I am Eric Seufert, and I am here with David Phillipson, the CEO of Dataseat. David, how are you?
I'm very well, Eric. Thank you for welcoming me.
I'm so happy to have you here. I'm happy to see you again. We haven't spoken in some time, but happy to catch up in full view of everyone who's going to watch this. Before we start, in the interest of full disclosure, I was an advisor to Dataseat, ahead of the acquisition. By the way, congratulations. So just making that clear.
Absolutely. You're a very valued and good advisor amongst a mixture of other advisors. So I always appreciate your input, Eric.
Let's talk product. What does Dataseat do? How does it work exactly?
So again, I'll always try and start slightly higher and then drill down. So your audience, sophisticated, knowledgeable audience, I'm assuming that. I'm just going to start with defining a few words because I've said we are non-reliant on device IDs and we'll optimize campaigns contextually. I just want to explain what that is because that really is then the product. But to do so, I need to describe the opposite. Mm-hmm. Because if you understand the opposite, if you understand black and white, you'll understand the opposite. So the majority of the industry to date had been driving performance of UA campaigns behaviorally. And the basis of that would be collecting device IDs from every advertiser, every publisher in the world, and building user profiles. So behavioral-based bidding, Eric would know your IDFA or Google Advertiser ID, every app on your phone, all of your usage, and that led to very effective advertising. They might know you're a match 3, payer. Well, then you'll see lots of match 3, ads. That is what Apple had a massive issue with, and that is why I believe Apple threw the hand grenade with IDFA. So we built our business based on that hypothesis, the assumption that the persistent identifier would disappear. So what we don't do is collect data from all advertisers and create user profiles. Right. So what do? We're optimizing campaign contextually. We will work with a new advertiser. It could be, and it's not just gaming. We started off in gaming, and now we've diversified into many different TAMs, and including social and messaging and music and content. But what we will do is work with one advertiser. And I say one because actually we're building campaign optimizations and algorithms per advertiser. That's actually essential with contextual. Every contextual optimization and algorithm will be different. Mm-hmm. Whilst you can understand behaviorally, there's one user profile graph, right, and it's a recommendation engine. So contextually, we'll work with an advertiser. We'll create publisher whitelists. Also, another nuance of contextual. Run of network is dead. I believe run of network campaigns will not exist in the future because contextually it's very important that you curate a publisher whitelist that has a very strong audience affinity to that advertiser. We'll do that. We'll go live. We'll then go through an explore or a training phase where we'll then actually be identifying what is working and what isn't working contextually. You said, well, what are the contextual variables? Publisher is one of the biggest ones. Which publisher, which exchange are we running on? Time is a really unique thing that is different for advertisers. So running this certain advertiser on these publishers through these exchanges at certain days of the week, times of the day. There's then all of these other nuances that lead to performance. Session duration. How long is that user in the publisher app? How long have they been playing the game? These are a lot of variables here that honestly, if you had a behavioral capability of the past, you don't care. If you knew someone was a match 3 payer, you'd bid super high. You don't care what day of the week, time of the day, or what publisher they're in. So this is almost advertising going back 10 years. Contextual is what it used to be, where the BMW would advertise on the Financial Times because it was contextually a good fit. So we're going through that process with each individual advertiser. And on iOS specifically, we will actually customize a scan for solution specifically for them. But there was perhaps a segue there for later on into a more detailed question around scan for.
just out of curiosity, do you use your own taxonomy for, like, I mean, you said you're not just games, but like app type. So like even within games, obviously there's more of a diversity, but
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a great question, because there are hundreds of thousands of publishers we can run on, and actually finding that this advertiser performs well on this list of publishers, it really is important that you have. We refer to it as category and subcategory. So we've actually gone through a lengthy process of actually categorizing, all of these publisher games at the genre and subgenre, or category and subcategory level. So if we have a new advertiser, the first thing we will ask them is, where have you seen good performance in the past? Right. Now, we'll quickly recognize some good contextual publishers, and that will often give us, a prompt. Well, it's performing well on these types of games. We'll then use our own IP, our own capability, plus some human experience, plus some great partnerships that we have an API integration with companies like Data AI. Data AI have got great products and taxonomy that you're referring to. But there is going to be a lot more focus on this topic, on curated publisher whitelists that have got to be large if they're going to include scale. And the complexity how it comes is they're often different in different countries.
Right.
You'll often have that different audience in the same app, but in different countries. So that does become a very big variable.